In this video, I'm going to quickly go through how to find the surface area and the volume of a cuboid. This shape is fairly easy, the formula is easy to remember, and the lengths are usually given. But you'll notice that for pyramids and other shapes, you are expected to find extra lengths, and they typically come up in paper 2 style questions, so they're longer questions. For this question first, we need to find the surface area of the cuboid. So remember, the surface area is you're adding up all the faces, the area of every single face. So you need to remember to add up all the faces. So it's a good idea to note how many faces you have. So in this case, you have 4 on the outside and then 1 at the bottom and 1 at the top. So you have 6 in total. So you need to remember to add 6 areas altogether. We can deal with the first area, so we can look at the area at the front and then the area at the back, and note that the area of this rectangle is 20 by 34. So 20 by 34, so we're doing part A now. But we have 2 of this area, so I'm just going to multiply this by 2. And then similarly, if we go to another face, we go to the faces on the side, we can notice that this face and the other face, well, they are just 20 multiplied by 42. So 20 times 42, and again we have 2 of those faces, so we're just going to multiply by 2, and then we need to add the last 2 faces, which are the ones at the top and ones at the bottom, and they are 34 by 42. So 34, 42, and again we have 2 of them, so I'm going to multiply by 2, and that's you finding every face and then adding them all up. So we've added 2 here, another 2, another 2, so that's 6 faces, and they should all add up or equal to 5,896 centimeters squared. Always remember to write the units down. So that's part A, fairly easy. And then for part B, they want us to calculate the volume of the cuboid and then give the answer in decimeters. I'll get to that in a bit, but first I'll just underline it to remember. We need to calculate the volume. The volume of a cuboid is, the formula is given in your data booklet, but it's fairly easy to remember. This is IGCSE stuff. So the volume is length times width times height. So basically what you're doing is you're finding the area of this face, and then you're just seeing how many times it multiplies to the top. So that's you multiplying by the height. So length times width, and then how many times does it multiply to give you the volume. It's more straightforward in a cuboid than any other shape, so it's just multiplying all the lengths together. 34, which should give you 28,560 centimeter cube. Now, in order to write it in decimeters, you need to remember that the conversions between the SI units. So in order to get from centimeter to decimeter, you'll have to divide by 10. And in order to get from decimeter to meter, you have to divide by another 10, which is why from centimeter to meter, we divide by 100. So that's generally the idea of decimeter. But we need to convert it to decimeter cube. So you can change each one of these to a decimeter. So you'll divide by 10, divide this by 10, and divide by that by 10. So you'll have 4.2 times 2.0 times 3.4. Or you can simply divide this value by 10 to the power of 3. Now the reason I'm going through a long explanation is just to show you why I'm going to divide by 10 to the power of 3 and not just by 10. So because you're at volume, because you have centimeter cube, you'll have to divide this whole thing by 10 to the power of 3, in order to change it to decimeter. And again, the reason we're dividing by 3 is by 10 to the power of 3 and not just 10 is because you have 3 lengths that you need to change. So that's 28.56 decimeter cube. And that's it. That's the final answer. Try to practice more questions. This was taken from the end of the chapter from the paper 1 review questions. So there is another questions on cuboid. Have a go at that.